Well, I'm at it. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Great. Howie G, you are the co-host tonight. Is that my imagination?
It's just your imagination, Howie.
Anyway, thank you so much.
Here's 30.
Revenge of the Howies. We've got, at least on my screen, there are two Howies, or Howard and a Howie, sitting right next to each other. And then
And
there's
there's Howie Cats.
exactly.
And there's another Howie or Howard G. There's a
Yeah,
Howard Gelman.
Yeah,
exactly.
that was, I'm going to turn that off. That's just to make sure everything's going well. I'll
Got it.
turn that
Okay.
off right now.
Anyway, love to invite all of you to say hello, unmute, say where you're calling in from so that we can just bathe in your inclusiveness.
Hi, Madison from San Francisco. Hi, guys.
Hey, Madison, sorry I didn't make it on Saturday. Look
Me
for you.
too.
This is Terry from Phoenix.
Hey, Terry, welcome.
Thank you.
Hi, Jim from Southwest Washington.
Hey, Jim, always happy to see you.
Brooke in Portland.
Hey, Brooke, welcome.
Deb from
What?
Saskatchewan.
Ooh.
Go ahead. Was
One
that
of the Howie tribe from British Columbia.
Margot from Berkeley.
Hi, Margot.
Chris
Stephen
from
from,
Iowa.
Stephen from Santa Rosa.
Welcome, Stephen.
David from Burlingame.
Hey, David. Glad you're here.
Trisha from the Mission.
Hello, Tricia. Glad to see you so soon. Deb, I think you tried to say hello, but I'm glad to see you and waving at you from Saskatchewan.
Yasmin from Vancouver.
Oh, in Vancouver. Oh, Yasmin.
Cecilia from Scottsdale.
Hi, Cecilia. Welcome.
Carol from Petaluma.
Welcome, Carol, wherever you are. I don't see you, but I can hear you.
Linda in
there
San
you go.
Francisco.
Hello, Linda. Not in Michigan, not in Ypsilanti, huh?
Plenty.
Okay.
Good memory.
Mary from Santa Barbara.
Hi, Mary. Welcome.
Katie from San
Rowena.
Francisco.
Hey, Katie.
So hard. And I was saying Rowena from Los Altos. Good to
Hi,
see you.
Rowena. Glad you're here.
Thank you.
Jeff, San Francisco.
Hey, Jeffrey. Glad to see you so soon.
Matt zooming in from Portland.
Welcome, Matt. Moving
Keith from
around.
Berkeley.
Hey, Keith.
Barry
from
San
Francisco.
I guess that I missed the name, but anyway, glad you're all here. Glad to hear your voices. And part of the uplifting impact of practice is doing it together, but we also don't just say hello, we actually use our togetherness to maybe settle in a little bit more easily into our aloneness. And then mix that, to me, a perfect combination of alone together. Just both supporting and being supported by each other. Then turning inward. And part of the turn inward is a letting go of, at least momentarily, of our external world and feeling ourselves from what feels like the inside, even though once we're really quiet, these ideas of inside and outside just melt away. There's just experience. But conventionally speaking, we're turning inward. And part of that turning inward is moving from our world of pictures and concepts, ideas, to immediate and direct experience, to the felt sense of our life, right where it touches us, where it's no longer an idea of I'm in life or I am this, I am that. In fact, we let the I just melt into the openness of our practice and just feel the full experience of this body and its senses. And we don't find any I in this body and senses. We just find nature, aspect of being aware, nature, that aspect of the elements of earth, hard, heavy, water, moisture, cohesion, fire, temperature, air, breath, vibration, wind. And we let even these ideas go and just experience ourselves directly. Part of turning inward is also withdrawing from our ideas of past and future. Even though they may arise in our practice, we know that future only arises as thoughts in this unfolding now. Past only arises as thoughts, memories in this unfolding now. So there's just this living present, and so we let ourselves release the tight fist of time, where we've been and where we're going, and just enter into the experience that's unfolding now. Most of us will experience that sitting body, that elemental experience, first and foremost. And that's our most gross and obvious experience, the pressure, heaviness, contact points of our rear on the cushion, chair, or bed. Other touch points, the hands, the lips, the eyelids. So intimate do we experience this that these ideas just melt away. There's just sensation. And most of us will naturally be called to the little movements or sensations that arise when our body breathes. And we may notice those sensations as the air passes our nostrils or upper lip. We may notice those sensations created by the breath when our chest or belly rises or falls. We may notice the body's experience of breath when the whole body gently expands and contracts. Many throughout the ages have found it beneficial to just connect with this living experience of breath and body and stick with it, sink into it, spread out all around it, not miss any part of the body's experience of breathing. And letting this body mixed with our kind attention, letting our body guide us to this single point life, right where it connects. And it guide us to a calm abiding, not trying to calm down, not trying to be single pointed, but just feeling our body and letting the stillness, the calming happen by itself. Letting go of all strain or tension, all attempts to make something happen, and just feeling life in the form of the breath here and now. Just this breath. Just this moment. This experience of body and its senses will include sounds. We welcome them. A whole range of sensations, we feel them. Moods, we experience them. Thoughts and images, we notice them. We welcome each presently arising experience. We hold only to what's happening now. Everything else we relinquish. Just this moment, just this breath, or whatever it is that presents itself in our nature of being aware. Using our body and breath as our home base, our safe space, our primary anchor for our attention in this living present. Returning again and again, no matter how many times we drift into the imaginal world. We appreciate when we wake up, become mindful again, and we gently include once again our body, breath. Noticing is very relaxed, non-interfering, non-judgmental, not contentious. It just notices with kindness, interest, just a relaxed knowing, relieving ourselves of the chronic sense that something needs to be done or undone, fixed or figured out, solved. Mindfulness doesn't do any of that. It just notices the body, breath, other senses, thoughts, sounds, everything welcome. Just this moment, just this body and its senses being known. Since mindfulness has no destination except here, this moment, there's no end. So if you notice that you're waiting for an end, for the bell to ring, for something to happen, for something to be gotten rid of, you're caught in a mental state. You simply notice that. Waiting, wanting. And we become unstuck and treat that waiting as the next presently arising experience. And we settle back into the moment, rooting ourselves, resting in this state of being aware, just resting in our nature. Just this moment, just this body, just this being aware, supported by the anchor of the breath and body. Neither coming nor going or staying, just being aware. Just this moment. Thanks for your practice. Treat to open my eyes and see you all. And hope that you, at least for a few moments, dropped out of the stream of distress. And if not that, at least you were able to notice the stream of distress with a few moments of at least balanced attention, hopefully imbued with a little kindness. I was actually listening to my own instructions tonight, and just helped me step out of the habit of being caught in I call it the trance of time, of going, because conventional time, we have beginnings and endings, and this sitting had a beginning and had an ending. I hit the gong. And so it's very easy for the mind to start leaning or looking back, when really it's just an unfolding. And so just hearing my own words of the power of mindfulness is not to make something happen. It's just to notice with discrimination, clear comprehension, the presently arising experience. That when I reflect on what its actual quality is, it has nothing to do with problem solving or fixing or going anywhere. In fact, its destination is always right where we are, if we're aware. So that was relieving. And I noticed that Isabel has her hand up, so she's jumping hang on one second, Isabel, want to hear from you. But for everyone else, I want to invite you to also speak about your practice, any questions, comments, topics that emerged. And we'll start with Aoife. We'll start with Isabel. Sorry, I saw Aoife and
Hi, Howie.
Hey, Isabel.
Thank you so much. I've been sitting a lot I look forward to it in the morning, like for a half hour, 45 minutes. And one thing I'm really enjoying is I'm just focusing on how we're doing the practice, like the way you're teaching it, because there's a lot of, it can be very confusing to jump around to different meditation teachers, but I feel kind of in a newbie state. But one thing I really love is that all I got to do is come back to my breath, and I have that 45 minutes or an hour to enjoy doing that. And just that's all I need to do. And it's always there. My breath doesn't go away. It keeps me alive. It's so amazing. So
Great.
I just wanted to say that, and also to realize that it's really interesting how I notice the process when I go back to my mind of the perfectionism, but a lot of times I'm I don't care how I do it. I'm just shooting back to the breath. How, the sensations of the breath in my body, where am I feeling it? And I notice that, maybe I'll get caught up in something, and then I'll completely zip right out of my breath, of noticing my breath. And when I get tense, sometimes I think I forgot to breathe. It's kind of that kind of experience. Like I know I'm breathing because I'm still alive, but I'm not like as aware of it. But it's just really easier to just like not judge myself about how I go back to my breath.
Great, great. And if you do, just notice judgment.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah, and
judging,
I'm not
non-judging.
even doing the noting. It's too complicated. I just go back to it's just keep it simple. And what the beautiful part of it too is that in my waking day when I'm walking around, I like today I was laying on my having my treatment and I started having stressful thoughts and I thought your breath's right there, and I just left that chaos and went right into my lungs
Great.
and my nose. And I was like, that's a nice little vacation. So I just wanted to just put that out there. And I look forward to sitting in the morning. It's kind of
Great.
nice.
Well, keep
And
up.
but I also noticed that there's something that when I sit up just a tad bit straighter in my chest,
Yes.
that I'm able to just kind of like the breath is like sometimes I get some good breaths. I judge my breathing. I see that. I judge my
Okay.
breathing. So I just like everything is just, and it is truly just right there in that breath.
Great. You just keep doing what you're doing. Thanks,
Okay, thank
Isabel.
you.
Loved
Okay.
having you here.
All right.
Anyone else when you're noticing? So the breath is a wonderful anchor, and sometimes it's very useful for in a way rescuing us from our tendency to get absorbed in very stressful kinds of thoughts. But we don't ultimately want to use the breath to get away from something, because then what we're practicing is aversion. We're actually practicing setting up what we like against what we don't like, and that will keep our mind needing to go somewhere. When the breath it creates the kind of steadiness to be able to notice a stressful thought and see that the stressful thought is coming and going and not need to do anything about it. But at first it's really helpful if we can keep reconnecting with the breath to create that kind of stability. But it's not an end in itself. It's really in the service of developing what I was actually going to riff on a little bit tonight. It's to develop the quality of equanimity, which is really essential right now in this world where conditions are not always showing up the way that we like them to. And the breath can help us find a middle with that too, but not in a way that it rejects those experiences that are present, but learns how to relate to them with much more balance and kindness. Because what you tend to resist will then come back stronger. You've heard the expression, what you resist persists. So we try to develop a wise, loving relationship for even our stressful thoughts. But sometimes we're not able to do that so well until we establish that sense of ground, that sense of steadiness that Isabel beautifully spoke about, that she finds in the middle of her life with being able to return again and again to that primary anchor. Yeah, just do that. But without aversion. Anyone else? Please feel free. Pressure's building. Just kidding. Jeffrey, please feel free. Unmute first, though. And then
Thanks.
Marina will be after Jeff.
I've been noticing lately in myself how greed works in my
Great,
mind.
great.
It's really interesting. I've got this baseline of expecting to be right and achieve the effect that I want, that I expect needs to be achieved. And I know about greed, but with the work that the focus you've been putting on it for us and group here, it's more prominent in my mind and in myself, my greed, and I'll continue to work on this, on relaxing the greed, that everything will be okay if I'm not in charge. And
Right. So
yeah.
just for everyone else to clarify, what we mean by greed isn't necessarily the greed for stuff or the greed for that's pervasive in the world, that the sense of accumulation,
Yeah.
power and status and all the things but more the quality of the mind that is grasping, that wants something to happen, wants to make something happen. And this is what's sometimes generally called greed in the mind, this mind of grasping. And you alluded to the tendency to want to control the outcome or get what you want.
Yeah.
And the mindfulness has the function of aerating that a little bit and helping you to relax just by noticing greed, and it fades. And then just by moment to moment, we, as you put it, we let go of control.
Yeah.
We trust that things will unfold, and
Yeah.
So keep up the good work.
Thanks. I like that, aerating the mind. That's good. That's a good one. Yeah.
And what I mean by aerating the mind is our mind stream gets very tight with what the Buddha called the three poisons of greed, grasping, and aversion, and then delusion of self, always spinning in our little narrative about going from being somebody that's come from the past, passing through, on my way to getting what I want. And all that creates a lot of physical and mental tension.
Yeah.
And every moment of mindfulness is a moment that is free of that grabbing. It's just noticing. It's free of that resistance to what's actually what I have or what's here already. So there's that kind of tension. Moment of mindfulness free of that. And a moment of mindfulness is free of the delusion of the story of me. Free of the delusion and confusion of what's actually happening. It's just things very simple as they are. So that's why every moment of attention is aerating this very powerful conditioning of being caught in what the Buddha called Sakaya Ditti, view of self in time, really going, getting, having, getting rid of this drama of life, which we don't find when we're present and simple. Where is the drama now? Where is the lack now when we're just here aware? I always have the sense of every desire is fulfilled when I'm just awake to what's happening, because I don't need anything anymore. No, there's nothing lacking. And actually nothing in excess either. It's just things as they are. Yeah. Rowena, please feel free. Thanks for reminding me about equanimity.
Sure.
I already had you covered, but
Oh,
go
good.
ahead.
Like that was like, I showed up. I need to hear it,
Oh, yeah.
because I was here on
Well,
the
it wasn't
weekend.
actually the three aspects. It was three different phrases that Christina Feldman. I'll get to that in a few moments.
Okay. Good.
Happy you're here, though. Anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, I was gonna share that I've been trying to be more mindful while I'm eating, and I think I'm so used to kind of devouring my food and often even reading at the same time, and almost like enjoying being checked out, and since I've been trying to do better, when I was reflecting on it as I started meditating, I was just noticing how, wow, now I'm tuned in. And I kind of thought back to how I just had this meal before I got here and was so not tuned in. And I had this sort of wave of shame come up. And then I tried to be with the shame, because that's difficult emotions are kind of hard to stay with. I mean, I'm kind of used to banishing them quickly and not sort of like experiencing them or letting them be there. So I tried to bring this sense of love to them, which actually Tara Muley said the other day about loving our experience, not just accepting it. And so I tried to just stay with it, not to make it linger, but to not feel like I have to get out of it right away. And
Great,
then
great.
it kind of actually brought this richer feeling of like just being okay, like I'm okay, it's all okay kind of thing. So that felt really nice to just like be with everything that was coming up in those few moments, you know.
Great. You just keep doing what you're doing. That's all good practice. And you know, you've probably heard the old Zen story before about the reading and eating. You know, the
I don't know
student.
if I have.
Oh, the student came and noticed the teacher was reading and eating, and he said, "You've been telling us day in and day out, only do one thing at a time." And so the student was very upset to see the teacher eating and reading. And so the teacher looked at the student, says, "Well, when you eat, eat, and when you read, read, and when you read and eat, read and eat." So anyway.
Okay, that's fair. Thank you.
No, but I think part of just the intention of eating mindfully is to expose to us our conditioning, is to see how ravenous or how we zoom through things, how we don't. And so that it's the hope is not that we impose some way that you're supposed to eat, but that we see how we eat, and that itself becomes the cause of us to want to eat more mindfully, rather than hearing it from some kind of external authority, which we'll fight against anyway. So
True.
it's just to show up enough even to see how unmindful we are when we eat. That's good news in the Dharma.
Okay. Thank you.
Anyway, keep up. So just to give a little background on Saturday, just had for me a joyous little half-day practice period with many of you who are in the Zoom room tonight. Many were in person, many were online. And the topic of the day was sitting in the middle of it all, basically. This idea that, as the existentialist Albert Camus put it, in the midst of winter, I realized that there was within me an invincible summer, that independent of the world that we live in and the circumstances, there is a capacity that we have to be, to sit in the middle of it with balance and with peace. And so I kind of leaned into the Buddha's teaching on equanimity, on balance, non-reactivity, etc. And I promised during that, I had received these passages from one of my colleagues, Christina Feldman, wonderful teacher. If you haven't heard her or read her stuff, she's a brilliant teacher. But she took the teachings on equanimity and she recreated the equanimity phrases, that those thoughts that help to help remind us of that inherent quality of our mind of balance or equipoise, evenness of mind, steadfastness, stillness that is possible, that really is the very nature of our mind, right? It's always available, but we're often caught up in things, so we miss that there is this inner stability. So her way of both recovering and growing that inner stability is included in some of these phrases. So I will get to her phrases, and I thought I had them the other day, but I didn't, and now I do, so they will be coming. But whenever I start to reflect on the quality of equanimity, which is a very central quality, as it's the culmination of our heart, our mind development. It is the final and culmination of the factors of enlightenment, the bojangas, the qualities of mind that grow through insight practice. It culminates with this quality of balance and even-mindedness, non-reactivity. It is the last of the perfections of the Buddha, called the paramis or paramitas in Sanskrit, of the qualities that grow over time, the qualities of patience, the qualities of generosity, the qualities of tranquility. There are many, many different qualities. The culmination of that list is equanimity. And then the culmination of the development of love, of the expansion of our heart from this very very selective, sentimental reaction of liking this and not liking this, to an expanded expression of the heart, a kind of universal loving kindness that expands to be able to include those who are in pain, and the capacity to respond with compassion, those who are happy to be able to respond with this kind of boundless empathetic or altruistic joy, these altruistic qualities that come from loving kindness. The culmination of that boundless loving kindness is the quality of equanimity, this almost a transcendent quality that goes beyond liking particular people or disliking particular people, resentments and attachments. So it really is the central path of the Buddha, but it's often very misunderstood. And just to let you know that equanimity doesn't mean flatlining, it doesn't mean not having feelings. It means being able to meet the whole range of feelings that show up in our life, both internal and what shows up in the world, to be able to meet those experiences with openness, with an open-heartedness, and with a capacity to sit in the middle of the whole range of experience, internal and external. Just to admit, for the hour before our meeting started tonight, my internet went down. And if equanimity was having no reaction to that, I was in trouble. I realized that there was some kind of time pressure. I had some kind of reaction to it. I started to get work on unplugging and plugging everything in. But the equanimity wasn't so much not having any reaction. It was being able to just ride those reactions, include those, accept those, and be able to know this is the way it is right now. So what I started to say earlier is, whenever I think of this topic of equanimity, I remember one of my models, one of my more humorous models for equanimity that I saw as a poster on the wall of a yoga center that used to be just up the hill and across the street for me on Dolores Street in San Francisco. Maybe some people in this group used to attend yoga classes at the Integral Yoga Institute. It was under the auspices of Swami Satchidananda. He got a little bit defrocked as he went along, but a wonderful, impactful teacher to many people. And on the wall of the yoga center was Swami Satchidananda posing in the tree pose, the tree pose. You stand up with your knee in a kind of sitting out, and your hands like this in a pranam position. and he's standing on top of a surfboard in the middle of the ocean. And the caption is, "You can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf." And that became a kind of internalized sense of this, whatever I am experiencing right now is a wave, on the ocean. And can I surf with this? So you may even reflect or even take as a practice, maybe for the next week, just consider that whatever it is that you're experiencing in any one unfolding moment is that particular wave of that moment. And what do you do with a wave? Like the little duck who I often refer to from the Donald Babcock poem. The duck says the poem says there is a great heaving in the Atlantic Ocean. And what does the duck do? He sits down in it. He reposes in the immediate as if it was infinity, which it is. He eases himself into the boundless, right where it touches him. He sits right in the middle and he experiences that wave. He cuddles in the swells. That's what the poem says. So if we could turn toward our presently arising experience, and especially the unpleasant ones, like trying to figure out whether the internet's going to work in time for our Tuesday evening group. If we can turn toward that, this is an unpleasant wave, but this is just a wave. And as a wave, it is, like everything in my life, a changing condition. And it's not the end of the world. And even if it was the end of the world, lately I've been talking to a lot of people who naturally, when you see the conditions that we're living in, there's a tendency to catastrophize, to build this, in a way, terror. Nothing's really happened yet things are happening, but whatever it is that we're dreading, imagining could go wrong, that hasn't happened. And often that kind of building of the image of the story of what could happen, it creates so much inner tension. And I've been asking people to play it out. One thing is to just notice the tension. That's what we practice with mindfulness. But sometimes it's a useful device or a useful practice okay, I have this kind of vague fear of that I'm not going to be able to survive what happens, and I'm in terror about how that's going to be. So as an antidote, one is we see that whatever terror is just a changing condition, we meet it with kindness. But another way is to say, okay, let's say everything that you're imagining is going to go down. Then what? And you play it out, detail by detail. How terrible everything could get. This is not to be a glutton for punishment. This is to see that whatever shows up will be another wave. And you can cuddle in that swell too, even if you're dying, even if you're even if you will die, even if it's the end of the world. And when we play it out that way, we say, okay, all that torment, all that terror is because I'm taking this picture, turning it into the solid reality, a vague reality, and what that's doing is preventing me from feeling the wave of the present moment and just noticing, oh, this is terror, this is dread. So what is the wave that's occurring for you right now? And can you surf with it? So traditionally, also, speaking of the waves, the power of equanimity feels in the teachings feels most relevant to us in regard to what the Buddha described as the inevitabilities of our life, what are called the 8 worldly winds. I'm sure most everyone here knows what the 8 worldly winds are. Praise and blame, fame and shame or disrepute, pleasure, pain. Pleasure, pain, gain and loss, fame and shame. Boy, I'm losing it. Praise and blame, gain and loss, fame and shame, pleasure and pain. I think I got them all. Nevertheless, these, what are called the vicissitudes of life, the conditions that are in a constant state of change. And if you don't have both sides of this list of 4 pairs, you're not one of us. Nobody has just praise without blame. I know that there's praise and blame going on even in this group tonight. No one is without fame, some moments where you're the center of attention, and the moments when you are shamed or you experience disrepute. No one has pleasure without pain. No one has gain without loss. These fluctuations are part of our life. So they're waves. And how do we handle these waves? Do we resist pain and grasp at pleasure? Do we grasp at fame and push away disrepute? We learn to open to them all, to sit in the middle of them. And this is this quality of being able to ride these waves is the quality of equanimity. Another domain where equanimity is so essential is in our relationships, our individual relationships with people who are near and dear, closest to us, and relationships to the people of the beings of this world. And the flowering of equanimity expands that circle of connection beyond just the nearest and the dearest to include all beings everywhere. But the tendency is to experience the nearest and dearest and the world as so difficult at times to bear. And the tendency is to try to as Jeffrey was saying, to try to control others, try to control the outcomes, and feel a certain intensity of pressure to be able to manage other people's experience. And consequently, one tends to lose their sense of equilibrium, become in a way disconnected from that sense of balance and ease that lives in us as us, because that balance is really the very nature of our mind when we are in touch with that simple sense of being aware. But it's very easy to lose that and get caught up in the suffering of the world and the suffering of the people who are near us. everything I'm saying quite obvious. But if you have an open heart, it will be broken by this world. And it will be broken by a family member. And sometimes that caring that is the appropriate response to this world, it moves into an unbalanced state, which we might call despair or hopelessness or clinging or strong aversion. And we're not able to sit in the middle of the difficulties that show up in our life. And so equanimity, the development of equanimity, points to the understanding that this world and everything in it and everyone in it, including our nearest and our dearest, everyone is the inheritor, is the heir of their own conditions, their own karma, their own actions, their own body, their own speech, their mind, all uniquely individual. And whether this world, whether the nearest and dearest are happy or unhappy, depends on those karmic conditions, not on my wish or my will. That I can care so deeply about the world and about others, but whether or not it finds relief is not in my control. Getting back to Jeffrey, not in my control. So some of the traditional, often used phrases for remembering when we've lost our balance with things, situations in the world, and every day with so many people dying and suffering at the effect of ignorance and the effect of all this bombing and all this sense that we can solve anything through killing, and it's very easy to lose that sense of balance. And so we use the phrase, I care about you, and we start with people close to us, and I care about you, but I can't keep you from suffering. And this is, of course, not meant to distance ourselves. It's meant to just help us find some balance. And then the other classic recitation is all beings are the heirs of their karma. Their happiness or their unhappiness depends on their karma, not on my wish or will, not on my will or wish. And the way I find balance with the waves of the world sometimes is my own simple recitation is things are as they are. And I often add whether I like them or not. Things are as they are. And that mantra helps me cuddle in the swells of what's happening. So I know my time is short, so I want to share beautiful recitations from Christina Feldman that some speak to the vicissitudes of life, the changing conditions. Some of it is that sense of things as they are, and some of it is about remembering that state of inner balance and stillness. So you can steal all of these. Get your pen and paper out. I thought they were brilliant. The first one, may I embrace change with stillness and calm. May I embrace change with stillness and calm. And she points to our moment-to-moment practice by the second one. May I deeply accept this moment as it is. May I deeply accept this moment as it is. And then last one. remembering that the way goes nowhere in a way. And that what we're looking for is really the natural state of our own mind. But that's just my editorializing. This is what Christina says. May my home be a home of balance and spaciousness. May my home be a home of balance and spaciousness. I'll read them once more just for anyone that might have wanted them. May I embrace change with stillness and calm. May I deeply accept this moment as it is. May my home be a home of balance and spaciousness. So even though equanimity sounds like this kind of evenness of mind, which it is, there are many kinds of equanimity in the teachings. In fact, in the sutras, there are 10 kinds of equanimity. There's equanimity toward the different senses, toward the formations of sight, sound, smells, taste, touch, etc., etc. There is the equanimity of the Brahma Vihara, which we talked about, the fruit of the scaffolding, the building blocks of love, compassion, joy. What flows from that is this quality of equanimity, this kind of boundless, this what in the teachings is called grandmotherly love, this love that is deep, but it also knows the limitations of what, like a grandparent can love their grandchildren, but their role is not to, they're not in control in a way. They have to kind of just bear witness. There is the enlightenment factor which I can do a whole night on the factors of enlightenment sometime that can grow as part of our practice, and we can actually enhance certain qualities that are helpful for our lives. They're called wholesome mental factors. There's the equanimity of energy, where our energy gets very balanced. And sometimes we're too exuberant, sometimes we're our energy's low or it's too much. But a kind of evenness of energy, and that grows through the continuity of practice. There's the equanimity of concentration, of the absorption states that our mind enters into when it's very well developed, and that tends to be very healing to our system and helps decondition our tendency to be too dependent on being overly stimulated and looking for stimulation. It's a kind of quality of stillness and balance that's just very settling for our nervous system, and it can have very lasting effects. So there's more and more, and we can't get to them all tonight. But I hope that you all develop in the quality of equanimity, invoke it, think about it, and maybe the simplest way is what's the wave that's happening right now, and can I just ride this wave? And just remember that you can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf. And so keep practicing. Thanks for listening. Any announcements? Howie G.
Yes, forgive my throat. Howard, you're having a half day at Spirit Rock this Saturday morning.
No, not a half day, a whole day at
forgive
Spirit
me.
Rock.
Forgive me.
No problem.
My mistake.
No worries.
I have included that in the chat. However, I did write half day for people who are away from the Bay. It's strictly an in-person.
Is it really?
event.
Is it not a hybrid, or is it just an in-person?
Well, it says on the thing that it's in person, so I
Okay.
could be mistaken.
No, I don't know. I'm just showing up to do it. So
Well, people go to register and see if you could find out. Forgive
Anyway,
me,
the
I
more
don't
the
know more
merrier
than
in person if you're in the Bay Area.
it's at one of the most beautiful places to find yourself up in Marin and Woodacre at Spirit Rock. So I recommend jumping on that since it's happening this Saturday.
It is on land only, as Laura saying. Yeah.
Yes, it's
Thank you,
on
Laura.
land only. Also, that information is in the chat. It's also in the email that you received today, hopefully. I'm losing it, but I just want to remind everyone about Donna. There's also something in the chat about that. Please consider supporting the Sangha, Howie, and yourself by making a
Thank you,
donation.
Howie G. You can sign off. I'm worried about your voice.
So am I.
Anyway, thanks in advance for your generosity. Thanks for your practice. Hope to see you all Saturday. If not, anybody in the Arizona region, a week from Saturday and Sunday, I'll be in Tucson leading a weekend retreat, non-residential. So come one, come all. And love being with you tonight. Please feel free to unmute and say goodnight. May you grow in equanimity and a little less grasping.
Yeah.
Good night.
Good night,
Thank you.
everyone.
Night.
Thanks,
Thank
Howie.
you.
Good
Night.
night.
Good to
Right.
see
Thanks,
you. Thank you
everybody.
for your
Thanks, everybody.
practice.
Fantastic. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Be well. Nice to see you.
Love
Thank
you.
you,
Night.
everyone.
Take care, everybody.
Good night.
Thanks, Howie.
Thanks. Thanks, Howie. Thank you, Howie.
You're welcome.
Take care of yourself, Howie G. And thanks for co-hosting.
Thank you for everything, Howie.